Hi, welcome to the Quilter's Nook in Versailles, Indiana. I'm Chris Combs, and I am here to introduce you to the Studio 180 Technique Series. So what we're going to do over the next several months is go through all the tools that Studio 180 has and all the technique sheets that go with them. And today we're going to start off with just a brief introduction on the tool, and then we'll get started on the first two techniques that go with this tool. So, the Tucker trimmer. This is a wonderful tool that makes 11 different sizes of units. We have a whole circle here, which means we can trim any unit from 1 inches to 6 inches. And then if we turn it around, we have a half circle icon, which tells us that we can trim units from 1.5 inches up to 6.5 inches. All right, so we also have this common diagonal. And this we will put on one seam, like if you have a half square triangle, that diagonal will be put here. There's also sizing diagonals through here, all these dashed lines and solid lines. Those are for units that have more than one diagonal in them. For example, an hourglass. So we've got 2 diagonals here. We're going to use 2 of our lines here to trim them up. All right, when we do the Tucker trimmer and any of our tools, there are instructions with your tool. You can also print these out in 8.5 by 11 by going onto the website, studio180design.net. And that's what I have here today. And in your instructions will tell you all about the tool. It will give you a chart on the different sizes of blocks that you need, how to make half square triangles, how to make combination units, which we'll get to in another week, and how to make hourglass units. She also gives you a free pattern that you can use to practice your skills with. And that's what we're going to go over today. So I'm not going to give you any specific square sizes that you need to cut. You need to buy the tool for that. But I'll give you the general overview on how these work. All right, let's start off with half square triangles. Everybody does them. You know how to do them. We're going to take 2 squares that are the same size. And what we do is we take our magic wand. This is a 1/2 inch piece of acrylic. And as you can see, it has a laser line down the center. When you are asked to make half square triangles, they usually tell you to do draw a line corner to corner and sew a 1/2 inch away or 1/4 inch away. This eliminates having to do that. So we're going to line up our laser line corner to corner on the back of one of our pieces, and we're going to draw on both sides of this tool. This is going to give us our sewing lines, okay? So then we're going to take our other piece of fabric, we're going to put them right sides together, we're going to pin them, and we're going to sew right on those lines. We're going to take our ruler, any ruler is fine, and after they're sewn, then you're going to cut apart down the center. And you're going to end up with 2 half square triangle pieces like this. Okay, we're all familiar with how to do those. I pressed mine to my blue fabric. You can press them open if you want, it doesn't matter. I just pressed them to one side for today. And now we're going to trim it down. This is going to get trimmed to 4.5 inches. So this is a 4-inch finished block in our project. So I'm going to take the half circle icon, because it tells us that we can go into half inch increments. We're going to line that common diagonal right through there. And as you can see, we have just a little bit to trim all the way around. And that's what we want, because everything Studio 180 is oversized so that we can trim it down to the perfect size. So we're going to trim those two sides, turn it around, and now we're going to use our square up lines. This is 4.5 inches, so we're going to put our 4.5 inch lines all the way around. Our common diagonal is still through the center, and we're going to trim up our last two sides. And there you go. You have a perfect half square triangle, and all your points are in the corners where they need to be, okay? Pretty simple to do. How about hourglass units? So an hourglass unit is 4 quarter square triangles, and most patterns will tell you to cut each individual piece and sew them back together. But we're not going to do that. We're going to start off with our half square triangles that we just did. So we're going to do a half square triangle in green and blue. Okay, so we've made our half square triangle, and we're going to make 2 of them. Okay, just like we did here, we've got 2. And when we set these together, we're not going to trim these up yet though, because we have another step to do. So we're going to put them together so that the opposite colors are on top of each other. And you're going to nestle that seam, because we want that point to match really nicely. Then we're going to take our magic wand and we're going to draw some more lines. So we're going to line it up corner to corner, and we're going to draw our lines 1/4 inch away. Whoop, got away from me. There we go. Okay, so you've got your lines drawn again, and you're going to sew on those lines, and again, cut apart down the center. And when you do that, you end up with 2 nice hourglass units. And that's what we have here. We have our 2 hourglass units. So now to trim these up, we're going to take our tucker trimmer. We're going to take our common diagonal, and he's going to go on one diagonal. And our 4.5 inch sizing diagonal will go on the other diagonal. And you will see that, there we go, it lines up right in the center. So you got your 4.5 inch diagonal, your common diagonal, and you still have room to trim all the way around. So we'll trim the first 2 sides. We'll turn him around. Use our 4.5 inch square up lines. And you can see our diagonals still are maintained. Common diagonal, sizing diagonal. Trim those 2 sides. And there you have it. All of your points are in the corner where they belong. So this is just 2 of the techniques that you can do with the tucker trimmer. And these, like I showed you, are in your directions that come with the tool. So this is kind of just a basic overview of what the tucker trimmer can do. Next week, we will go over a technique that's called 8 at a time, or 8 at once, I believe is what it's called. So we're going to get 8 half square triangles all at the same time. All right, we are doing classes on these tools and these techniques. If you're interested, please stop by or give us a call. We'd love to show you around the tucker trimmer. So until next week, have a wonderful day.